Hey everyone, Complex back with another video, and today we're going to talk about the Waylanders and specifically a few things that you should know heading into early access. Waylanders did launch on Steam Early Access on June 16th, and I will leave a link in the description down below to the Steam store page if that is something that you are interested in. Now, I wanted to go over what I deem as kind of the 5 biggest things that you should probably know going into this, so let's just dive on in. Now, first up, this game is early access, and that is something that you should bear in mind when you start playing. Early access means that the game is still actively being worked on. The developers are taking feedback from the community, and some things may or may not work. You might have broken dialogue, you might have a few cutscenes that don't work, and so on and so forth. So when you're playing the early access version, please bear that in mind, and just know that as it goes and continues on in its early access version, it is getting more and more polished and having more things added. Now, if you're somebody that doesn't enjoy that process of a game, I'd probably suggest waiting to pick it up until either closer to the end of early access or when the game fully releases. But if you're somebody like me who enjoys seeing a game go from the kind of more raw stage of early access to its full release version, then I would suggest taking a peek and possibly picking up the Waylanders on early access if that's something that you think that you would enjoy. And now next up is companions. I have found the companion dialogue either between 2 different companions or 2 different NPCs and then the dialogue between you and them to be heckin' fun. It's been witty and charming, and it leaves me wanting more. I want to know more about these people. I want to build relationships with these people. I want to know why do they have this kind of outlook? What makes them, you know, tick this way, or why did they choose to go down this route kind of thing. So if you're somebody that is very, very much into having companions in video games, having companions that you can learn more about and build relationships with, then this could potentially be the game for you. Third, you should know that this game is based off of Celtic lore. Now, by based off of, I mean it is inspired by, you'll see references to things like the Tuatha De Danann. They mention a few different Celtic gods and stuff like that. So if you're somebody that is super into lore and world building in that regard, I'd highly suggest just kind of brushing up a little bit on your Celtic mythology. So that way going in, you have a little bit more of an idea of who exactly they're talking about and how that could potentially affect the story going forward. Now, next up, just note that there is only about 25% of the game available at its current stage in early access. I don't know down the road what will happen with the game, if they'll add more, anything like that, but there is only about 25% of the game. To give you a little bit more of an idea of how big the game is going to be, there are 3 full acts in the game, and we will not be able to finish the first act given that there's only 25% of the game available in early access. And according to the Steam page, it says that it's about 10 to 12 hours of content within early access. So you're looking at roughly maybe a 40-hour game-ish. That's kind of what some devs have said. I don't know if that's just main story or if that is being a completionist, but that is something to bear in mind going forward, that while playing early access, you do not have access to the entirety of the game and story. Now, lastly, and this for me, if we've hung out before, you know, is probably the most important part of the game. Yes, as a ranger, you can have a pet. That actually wasn't what I wanted to mention, but I do also want to mention that if you play as a ranger, you get a pet. 20 out of 10 worth it. Also, there are romances in the game. There are a few different characters that you can romance. On the Steam store page, you will note that if you go into the different posts that they've done some deep dives into characters, and you can see which ones you're actually able to romance going forward. I haven't personally run across any flirt or romance lines yet. I don't know if they're in early access, but that is something when the full release happens that you will have romance. You will have relationships with the characters that you're traveling with, your companions. There's also going to be loyalty missions, which I really like. So if you're somebody, once again, that likes relationships in video games, whether they are romantic or platonic, this is definitely something to keep an eye on. But y'all, that is it. Those are just kind of the 5 biggest things I wanted you to know going into Waylanders Early Access. If you have picked up Waylanders on Early Access, I hope you are having a blast playing through and learning a little bit more about the NPCs and the world and just having a blast. And if you're somebody that hasn't picked it up yet and you're hoping to see a little bit more from it, fear not, I will have some more coverage on the Waylanders throughout the course of its early access, as well as when the full release comes out. Thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your night and or day, depending on where you are in the world. And I will catch you next time. Bye, guys.